Hello. Well, thank you, Leo, for having me moderate this. I haven't really done it before, so go easy on me. So let's start with some introductions. So I'll go first. My name's Dev. You guys don't know me. I'm a doctor by background, and my mission statement would be that I help people navigate the NHS. So that involves sharing behind the scenes of the life of a doctor. It involves breaking down hot topics in the NHS, interviewing MPs on policy, all sorts of stuff. The content's quite vague, so that's what I do across TikTok and Instagram.
My name's Annalisa. I am a clinical pharmacist, but I'm actually a newly qualified pharmacist. However, I have been in the game for about 13 years, started as a counter assistant, worked my way up to a tech, and now I'm here. Alongside that, I started social media and essentially shared my whole story because I returned back to education as an adult with lots of bills, lots of debt, all of that stuff. So I'm being relatable to others that also want to do that journey. But alongside that, I also do fashion, beauty, and loads of other stuff.
Perfect. So, hello everyone, my name is Gio. I am the founder of Revise Pharma. Revise Pharma is a trainee program basically for any trainee pharmacist that wants a bit more ease throughout their training year. We have a clinical course, clinical question bank, calculations course, and in the June 2025 cohort, we're very happy to say we trained 1,600 students with a pass rate of 95%, which, thank you. But other than that, I would consider myself a bit of an entrepreneur. I also have a different side of my life, which is clinicals. So that's actually helping with any other pharmacy services. So set up a very small accounting firm for locum pharmacists because we can get in contact with all the locum pharmacists quite easily now. And yeah, we help kind of educate people on other products as well. And I also like to play tennis.
Yeah, so hi guys, it's lovely to meet you all. So my name is Jane and I'm a pharmacist. I'm the founder of Farm Fluency, so that's creating sort of fun and educational clinical pharmacy content in ways which are just to make clinical pharmacy kind of like the easiest pill to swallow, I like to say. So that's with Farm Fluency, and then also with Inner Clinic, I am a health coach and a mindset coach as well. So that's sort of creating a space where people can feel safe to sort of unpack sort of unhealthy habits. So instead of always giving medications, just starting off with that mindset and doing some mindset reprogramming work, and then sort of holistic lifestyle audit, and helping them to really evoke that inner glow. So that's why it's called Inner Glow Clinic. And yeah, that's kind of about.
What a unique and interesting panel. Everyone's doing something different. So Annalisa, as you've grown your presence, how do you balance being relatable while also ensuring that your content remains professionally valuable?
Well, the key word here is balance. So we need to ensure, obviously, we're remaining professional online. But just because you're a pharmacist does not mean, that's all you are. You will have other personalities. You were something else before you started becoming a pharmacist. So on my platform, I share the highs, share the lows, post funny videos because, life is funny sometimes. Right? And just essentially be relatable in that way because a lot of people actually do struggle with the journey, but it's not spoken about enough out there. I failed an exam in year 2. I was absolutely distraught and I had no one to talk to. But I shared that online and floods of messages came through saying, no one's ever done this before. And from then I decided I was going to share everything online in a kind of professional way, but being honest at the same time. When I say about balance, if you're not going to say it at work, don't say it online. And that's how you kind of don't cross that barrier of getting in trouble, I guess. But yes, that's how I do that, really.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in on that. So I think I personally also find it quite hard to balance, but also you don't always have to interlink the two. You don't have to always force it into each sort of video. So what you can do is, be relatable at times. And ultimately, if you're sharing your experiences, that's what people resonate with. So you can keep that content separate, but also then, provide value in some other kind of way, whether that's making storytelling content, authority content about your niche, or some kind of educational video. You can, vary it up, and over time, as you share your experiences, people then start to trust you, and then they start to trust the knowledge that you share. Gia and Jane, so you both focus on education. How do you sort of navigate that fine line between sharing knowledge but also maintaining professional sort of boundaries online?
Well, I think professionalism comes in loads of different forms. As an educator, the best way that you can do something professional is by ensuring that it's correct, because the last thing that you want to do is educate on something wrong, because that looks bad on you. And we're not in a field where you can get things wrong. You're playing with people's health. So it would be deemed unprofessional, in my opinion, if you taught something clinically wrong. As well as that, whilst we do work with other brands, just touching on what was said earlier, whilst you do have that space to educate people, you wouldn't want to take partnerships or collaborations from brands which are just a bit of a hype for the moment, just for the money. You do want to go for the people who are science-backed, so glad to see we've got those people in here today. And yeah, also stepping away from the educational side, I feel like there's always a time and a place for kind of being a bit silly and being professional. So, everyone should have that common sense, I suppose, to, well, as Annalisa put it perfectly, actually, if you're not going to say a word, don't do it online, because that will kind of stay with you forever. Because one screenshot and then you can't get rid of it.
Right. It's already happened to me.
Yeah, that's my take on it from an educational and just personal perspective.
What do you think, Jane?
Yeah, no, so I guess I would echo some of the things that he said. Definitely, I think whenever I create a post, always just remembering your why, like the reason why you're putting that post out in the first place, and just making sure that it resonates with that why as the sort of key foundation of any post. And then just also trying to see if someone were to come up to you and show you a post that you've done, how will you feel? If you feel embarrassed or uncomfortable, then maybe that's not the best kind of thing to post, because you are kind of, the post that you create is the image that you're creating for yourself. So just trying to just have that in check as well. And then always just having disclaimers, especially with educational content. Sometimes, especially if that's sort of clinical scenarios, someone might see themselves in that situation and then maybe want to implement whatever decision you've made, and they shouldn't do that. So just making that clear that this is just for educational purposes only. Always consult a medical professional. And yeah, that's just having those things in check. And yeah, I would say just, yeah. And then just having fun as well, just trying to be yourself with the content and sharing whatever resonates with you, but within those boundaries. So always having your why, and then...
Well said. Now we're going to take it in turns. So what's one practical tip for healthcare professionals who are just starting out in their content creation journey? What would you tell them?
Be yourself. At the end of the day, there's loads of pharmacists in the world. Why would they want to follow you? They're going to follow you because they want to follow you as a person. And that's when this is me going back to what I was saying earlier about you're more than just a pharmacist. You have a personality. You were someone before a pharmacist, so you have interests. Talk about those. Someone might, for me, I like fashion. I've got a lot of fashion followers now, but now I can do fashion videos. So I would say always be yourself, be authentic.
Cool. One practical tip that I would suggest, and it works for me quite well, is focus on volume of how much you post. Put it like this, if you were to see a page and they might have had something good that you've just seen on, someone shared it, or whatever, and you go back to their page and you see, okay, they've got about 10 posts on there and they're about 2 months apart every time they post. It's less likely that they're going to follow you if you are that kind of scarce with your posts. If you go onto a landing page and there's a load of things and you can see it's being constantly updated, you're going to do a lot better. That's what I've seen for myself. That's just one tip that I would put out for people.
Yeah, and yeah, no, that's a good point. And definitely, I think always, one thing I always like to remind myself, especially when starting, that an imperfect start is always better than no start
Yeah.
at all. So always just starting off with that, and then just picking just one thing you're passionate about and just creating content on that, because it will definitely resonate with someone else. Because I always like to also think of how the world is quite big, but also really small. And if you have an idea, it's going to resonate with someone else, and always just thinking that the idea that you have, someone is waiting to receive it already, and just starting and just creating and then connecting with other similar pages, just so at least you can feel safe in what you're creating, so you don't feel as alone. Yeah, so honestly just start and then it'll just go from there. So,
It will
'cause
work out.
someone else wants to hear what you want to share.
The beauty of going last is I can just say, I'm going to echo all of their findings. No, but I think for me, one of the quotes that resonates with me is the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door. And content creation is just like that. The hardest thing is getting started, opening that front door, so to speak. You can stand outside the gym, you can look inside, but until you get there, you start lifting, you're not going to see any results. Same thing with content creation. If you're going to, you can sit there, you can watch the videos, you can analyze them, but until you're making that content, nothing's going to happen. And the thing with content is, or starting out is, when you're small, not many people are going to see it. So you start out, experiment, and eventually you'll find your voice. Yeah. One word each, and guys, stick to it. We practiced? No, we haven't practiced. See, clearly I haven't practiced. What's the most important quality that a healthcare content creator should have?
Authenticity.
I would go for persistence.
I would go for visionary.
I've realized my word was trust, but that's not really a quality. But trust. That's more than a word. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what would you say is the most common misconception that people have about healthcare influencers, Annalisa?
This is a big topic, but in my opinion, I think that people may think that you're unprofessional because you're on social media, which is why there's such a big problem with it, I find. When actually you're holding a lot of responsibility by having a professional title and doing social media. So I think that's a really big misconception. I think you have a lot more power through social media while being a professional.
I think also on the opposite end, some people forget that there is a person behind there.
Yeah.
And if there is a person behind there, like, what do they look like? Do they specifically care about who the person behind there is? I mean, there was a short while where I had my page fully anonymous. And then Jane, who's sitting beside me, actually thought I was a lady.
I did!
Her messages were very, very friendly toned.
Emojis and heart emojis.
Loads of heart emojis and stuff like that. And then we spoke, and she was like, "Oh." Yeah. So it's quite hard to see who someone is behind a page. Do try and give that human element to it, so people do remember that you're not just a Instagrammer who doesn't do anything apart from Instagram, right? So that's my take on it.
And Jane, what would you say? How do you handle any negative comments that you get online?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I guess there can be a tendency to, maybe take it personally. But then one thing I've come to learn is that if someone is going to say something negative, it's really a reflection of them and whatever it is they're going through, and that's what is being projected out. So just trying to see it from that way really changes how you might feel, depending on what someone says. Yeah, that is kind of how I
just, what I like to say is I professionally par them off. That's what I tend to do. But yeah, that's it for our questions. Can we have a massive round of applause? So I think, we've had quite a few interesting panel discussions. I've definitely learned a lot from everyone. I've learned that specific probiotics only work on specific strains. So that's, we need to know that one. Cool. Yeah, I'll leave it to Leo.